Greetings everybody, it's Jim here. Today we got kind of an uncommon guitar, one that I've never had one of in my possession at any given moment. This is a 2007 Fender American Vintage Thin Skin 62 reissue Telecaster. And the color, it's really different because originally this was seafoam green. This has naturally aged and faded, and you can tell also by looking at the binding here, that came white from the factory. So whoever had this guitar, they actually really used this thing and put some mileage on it because this is so cool. You can see some of the color is still remaining up here, but yeah, a lot of it's faded. In the neck joint, you could see some of the seafoam still sparkling through. But I just wanted to talk about this run of guitars and how I thought they were really, really cool. Some of the colors that they were available in, how you could get them at the time, and where you might be able to get some not exactly like this custom Telecaster today. So there were places like Wildwood Guitars. They had a bunch of these things, 2007, 2008. What made these things really cool and different from the American Vintage 62 reissues that were the standard kind of production line guitars from Fender USA at the time. The original ones were all vintage spec. You had small frets, you had the traditional vintage radius, and you had vintage 62 voiced pickups in them. These got 6105 frets, so a bit bigger on it. It's got the modern radius, 9.5 inch. These have custom shop pickups in them, and these are actually raised pole pieces, a little bit staggered in some spots, and definitely not exactly what you might find on every single vintage Telecaster reissue, but I think they sound really good. They got a lot of power behind them with definitely enough clarity to carry the weight, so to speak. But the main star of the show is the finish itself. The fact that this is a thin skin finish, and you'll see a lot of checking happen with a nitro guitar, regardless if it's a thin skin finish or, you know, just a standard issue, kind of like a American Vintage 63, thinking of a modern guitar here, or 61 rather, if you're looking at a Strat. They will check over time, but these are gonna age a little bit quicker than that, and there's just something cool about these. I thought it would be a lot of fun to go over it for a second here. These were available in Lake Placid Blue, Seafoam Green, Fiesta Red, Sherwood Green Metallic, and a blonde for the 62 Telecaster style. And the blonde one was the only one that did not come with the binding on it. That would look a little bit odd, not necessarily the most traditional, but really, really cool color options. At the same time, Fender made them for other guitars, including the offsets. Now, I would love to one day get my hands on one of the thin skin Jaguars from that era. Those came in some other colors as well. Jazzmaster and Jaguar, you could find them in shell pink. You could find them in burgundy mist metallic. You could find them in Daphne blue. Man, what I wouldn't give to have one of those originals in burgundy mist, I would say, with the Jaguar. But same kind of deal going on with those. You had more modern appointments to them, and at the same time you have to keep in mind they were making the 62 reissue straight up if you didn't want that, and they did have the poly undercoat as opposed to the flash nitro on top like these guys did. Really, really cool stuff all around in a bygone era. These pickups really are awesome in these guitars. One thing that I like to do to test the pickup is to really see how it responds to different dynamics in my playing without touching the volume knob on the actual guitar itself or hitting a pedal, and seeing how it goes from there. So I'm going to start playing a little bit softer, then we'll build up, and hopefully you'll see what I'm trying to get at here. It's great. It's really great. Sometimes what'll happen with a pickup is if you're strumming really hard all the time, you're not going to have any problems. But where a pickup really shines is when it picks up the nuances of your playing. And you got to remember that these are microphones, and the higher quality microphone that you're using, whether you're singing into it or you're plucking some strings and having it being amplified through, a guitar amp like the Tone King here, the little things do make a difference, and they really nailed it with this set. Now, initially, there were a few shops that these were made for. The main two that I can confirm were Dave's Guitar Shop and Wildwood Guitars. Nowadays, your best bet at finding one of these, really the only place I could think of that gets them in on a semi-regular basis, would be Dave's Guitar Shop. However, you're not going to find one of these custom Telecasters there. They do have the Strats, the 62 reissue Strats. You're going to find those in Lake Placid Blue, it's Sonic Blue, same kind of thing going on with the modern features as far as the radius, the fret wire, and the thin skin finish on it. Then the Jazzmasters. These come in Surf Green, Fiesta Red, and Sonic Blue as well. They have the matching headstocks and the more modern appointments. So really, really cool guitars. If you are looking for one of those, though, you might see them pop up on Reverb used for about anywhere from $2,600 to $3,000. Some people optimistically list them at. I would call Dave's Guitar Shop and ask them when they are expecting more in, because the last time I checked, the going rate brand new was either $21.99 or maybe it jumped up to $22.99. Either way, you'd be getting a brand new guitar and you'd be paying a little bit less. So that's just how I would go about doing it. However, to kind of close this out, I tried to provide a little bit of playing examples for this, but yeah, I think that these are awesome. I love the concept of them. I fell in love with my Thin Skin 65 Jaguar that came after these line of guitars in 2007 and 2008. And one last thing, specific to these Telecasters, the serial numbers are going to be a little bit different. This has an SE in front of the serial number. Some of the other guitars will have an LE, and I believe there was even one or two smaller runs that came with just the regular V, but they had certificates. And another really odd thing, I know this is strange, but they would come with the certificate of authenticity in some cases. They wouldn't always be dated. They would just be blank, not filled out by Fender. So if you ever find one of these, the serials match up, the color matches up, and all that stuff, but the actual certificate's blank, it's not sketchy, believe it or not. Fender just didn't fill them all out. Weird fact, I know, but it really is the truth. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed today's video, let me know by leaving a like. If there's anything you'd like me to cover going forward as far as strange one-off, or not really one-off, but limited production guitars. I really dig this kind of stuff, especially, freaking look at this thing, dude. This was seafoam green. I cannot believe how marvelously that this thing has aged into the Incredible Hulk. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.